Hey listeners, it's a new month, and of course that means a new sponsor. This month we are sponsored by Inebri-art pens, and Zebra is serious about making the best pens possible, which means their ink lab team is always testing, innovating, and perfecting ink formulas. And if you want to see what they have to offer, you can go to zebrapen.com and check it out. They sent us a wide variety of pens, mechanical pencils, colored pencils, mechanical colored pencils that we're going to be giving away at our life drawing events the first Monday and third Wednesday of this month. And like I said, check out their website, zebrapens.com, and see what they have to offer. There's a lot of stuff there. There's a blog. There's an artist studio where you can check out some artwork. And there's a link that says Find Zen. So you can go to zebraartpens.com and find Zen, as well as plenty of art supplies. Thanks for listening. All right, welcome everybody to Acting 101. We're here with Sean Whalen.
Hello.
I'm sure the question on everyone's mind is, what is a Got Milk commercial like?
What is a Got Milk commercial like? Does everybody know what that is? Okay.
It was my joke. I was hoping for people. Yeah, it was obscure. So it's Acting 101. How did you get started in the acting business?
I was always interested I entertained my brothers and sisters while they did the dishes after dinner because I didn't want it. So I would keep them laughing and distracted, and then they would...
To realize that you weren't doing anything?
Yeah. So then when they were done, my job was finished, and that's how I honed my skills. And then finally they got wind of it or figured it out, and they would say, all right, we're done. And I go, yeah, but there's all this left to do. And they go, oh yeah, that's your part.
Oh, nice.
We did our part, now that's your part. So I had to find a different audience. So I started doing it in elementary school, and I started to do it in junior high school, and throughout high school, musical theater, dancing, all of it. And then I got into UCLA theater department and came out west. I went to UCLA theater department. I didn't enjoy that program as much, so I was only there for a year, and then went to just had a normal college experience. And then after I graduated, I went to the Groundlings, which is a comedy school in Los Angeles, where it's a sketch comedy school where a lot of people
tons of people have been through there. Yeah.
Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell, a bunch of different people. And I did that for a few years. Then I went to Playhouse West. But while I was at Groundlings, we were performing the shows. I was at them with Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah.
And then an agent came and saw me and booked me there, and started my commercial agent. And I've been with my commercial agents for 30-some years. And then I kept going after that, and then once I got people under the stairs, it was enough to have me stop waiting tables.
Right.
Been at it ever since. And then rode the ups and downs, had to go back and do a side job in the early 2000s for like 6-7 years. Because it was after 9/11 and the whole industry kind of shifted and how they did things, and so now I'm teaching and doing a bunch of different things at once. So, but that's how I kind of got into it. I just got into, really it was the Groundlings that got me into it professionally, because as I was performing, agents and managers came to see me, and not the other way around, and so I didn't have to go seek out.
Was your family supportive through this process? Or
Totally, the whole time. It was really great. They were really happy for me, so it was great. Yeah.
And so now you teach. Like, where do you teach?
I teach at Playhouse West, the place that I actually went to after Groundlings. It was started by Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, sure.
And a man named Bob Carnegie. It's their neighborhood playhouse, which is a very famous acting school in New York from Sandy Center, and now I do a comedy program there. I teach the comedy improv program there, me and 2 other guys.
So what is the primary difference between improv and more scripted stuff?
Well, improv is completely free. I mean, there's no script.
Mm-hmm.
You make up the story as you go. It's like 100% play.
I always hear the term yes and.
Yes and, yeah. So you'll say, oh, you're in a grocery store and your scene partner is standing there, and he's saying, oh, I'm packing stuff in a grocery store. I can't walk in and go, no, you're not. You're in a spaceship, You go, oh yeah, and those cucumbers are rotten. You can't put those out. And then you start building a scene and just building off each other. And it's unscripted, but you're creating the story right there and then in front of you on the fly. In a script, obviously, you have a script and a roadmap to what you're going to talk about.
And I've heard of a lot of actors coming up with their marquee characters from Groundlings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is there a character or something that you carried over from?
I didn't. I mean, I did a short of one of them called Dorothy 50 Years Later, and it was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz 50 years later, and bitter and drunk and no one believes her, and that she's stuck in that crappy farm, but I never did that professionally. But there's a couple characters for sure that I did in Groundlings that I've used in auditions. For a certain part, I did a nerdy professor kind of person, and I did that in several auditions and booked roles from there. But I didn't go to Saturday Night Live, so Will Ferrell had the cheerleaders and stuff like that, and he took them straight from the Groundlings and things like that. But Elvira she was at the Groundlings.
Right, and Pee Wee Herman was a character there.
Was a character at the Groundlings as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you've been in tons of different movies. What is there a distinct acting difference between, say, a movie like Twister and then into a horror movie like People Under the Stairs?
Twister wasn't about us at all. It was about the special effects and the adventure.
And the flying cows.
The flying cows and the adventure and the excitement of the thing. And you have to, it's humbling to go, okay, I'm in a huge movie, but I'm servicing the special effects.
Right.
You know what I mean? People Under the Stairs.
Did you have to act like a tennis ball on a stick, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of times. I remember Yonderbond, who was Swedish, who did Speed. I remember we were going to lunch. And he goes, we have to get this shot. And they were like, no, we've got to send him to lunch. He goes, no, I'll do it real quick. He goes, look, you guys are sitting, and we were in our bus. And it's when Carrie Elwes' crew dies. And they say,
oh, right.
Yeah, they go, look, you see a big tornado. It's big and fucking scary. And then all of a sudden it picks up the truck, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then the truck falls, and it explodes, and they're all dead. And now you're a little freaked out. And you see the tornado get bigger, and now it moves away. Okay, lunch. They're like, all right.
Yeah.
So, we've done that a couple times, but no. But then in People Under the Stairs, Peroch was like a fully realized character with a backstory in the beginning, in the middle, and an end. And so, there's a lot different, a lot more intimate. It's hard in completely different ways. Twister, we were there for 6 months, driving down dirt roads, going back and forth, stuff like that. And then People Under the Stairs, you're in a very intimate. We were on a set. I was on a set the whole time. There was no house for me because I was inside. The house was used for the outside.
Yeah.
So, Wes gave me the space to create my character and do all the preparation needed for all the scenes. But I just played him like he was happy and kind of cocky, Yeah. He thought he was a badass.
Is there a particular type of director that you prefer to work with?
Not necessarily. I think all of it's just know what they want and know to collaborate. Yeah. To not just say that's open to ideas. I think those are the funnest ones. The ones that aren't open to any ideas and are. There was only a couple of directors where they were really nervous and not very confident. And when they're not confident, it's just like a waiter at a table. When you go to dinner and your waiter's super nervous, you're like, oh shit, I'm never going to eat. But But if they're confident and they're hiring you to collaborate with them to help make their project better,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, the kind of director I prefer to work with.
And so say I'm a student and I walk into your acting class the first day one.
Yeah.
What is the first thing that you teach?
Well, to come to, when I say come up and do an exercise, I want you to come up with enthusiasm and an energy and a willingness to learn. You know, it's like if I teach someone to ride a bike, I can't say, you're going to ride a bike and I don't want you to ever fall.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. It's okay. You make mistakes. We do a thing when you screw up in class. We all go, we did it! So, because the more mistakes you make, the more you learn.
Right.
So, it's really about loosening up, having fun, and playing, truly in the sense of playing like a child.
Yeah.
If you go to a grocery store and you see a little kid running around the aisles, they don't care what they look like.
Right.
And the other thing is get out of your own way. You can't criticize as you go. You can't sit there and go, oh, that sucked, or that was amazing. You have to just stay in it and commit 100%. And really, it's and the other thing with dramatic or comedic is you just can't be afraid of how you look. Now it's so funny with Instagram and all this stuff. People are judging the way they look all the time.
Right. Yeah.
All the time. So now some of my younger students, they're like, they hold back because they don't want to look bad. And I go, well, that's, look how goofy Meryl Streep has looked, and for all different parts.
You think there's a distinct difference on this generation? Because I have some teenage kids, and it occurred to me no part of their life has not been documented on camera.
Yeah. So it's definitely a different thing, but documented to be judged by others. So they're in this constant mode of being judged and judging. And you can't do that if you're an actor. You can't judge, anything. That's the director's job.
Right.
You just commit to it, play, and then they'll adjust you.
So kind of like check your ego at the door, and shut your brain off and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the number one most common sense thing, and I'm trying to teach my teenage daughters this all the time, is that you have to have a good attitude and be easy to work with.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're good or bad, but if you're a pain in the ass, then that's going to be worse for you in your career. Any career. I mean, just like this is, conventions.
Right.
And if there was a guy that was difficult to work with at the convention, then JB wouldn't hire him again.
Right, yeah. It's like you may have your one moment, but then that'll probably be your only
So
moment.
you just have to have a good attitude and be easy to work with and fun.
Do you see, so when they perform in your class, is it something that you video record and then collectively critique that?
No, right now at these points and for a while, I just, give them adjustments.
Yeah.
You have to look at it as like you're doing something, and I see it as like a bowling pin with the rails up, I'll just adjust you so you can keep going.
So you can get a strike, hopefully?
So you can get a strike, hopefully, but it's such a subjective craft anyway. Mm-hmm. So you can tell if someone's having fun, committed, connected. Those are the things that are way more important than if they get the basic rules at the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
I remember I heard a quote from Gary Marshall where he said that if you see a good performance, that's the actor. If everybody's performing well, that's the director. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. That a lot of casting a lot of directing is casting the right people.
Yeah.
And once they get the right people, then if you've collected the right people to do your thing, it'll be easier.
And do you feel like there's a tendency to typecast in Hollywood?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that a good thing, bad thing?
I mean, it's. I understand why it is because it would say, well, let's put some Captain Crunch in the bran flakes. What?
Yeah.
How does that work? So it's much more difficult to say, oh, he can. I luckily I was the milk guy when I first came out.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just telling a student this, that there was commercials after I did the milk commercial that said Sean Whalen type. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it was on the breakdown. It said, we need a Sean Whalen type. And then my agent would go, hey, can Sean come in? And I go, no, we don't want Sean.
we want a type
Whalen
like Sean.
Like Sean. And I was like, what the hell?
What's more Sean Whalen than Sean Whalen?
Than Sean Whalen, exactly. But I understood what they were doing. They're like, well, he's so exposed on the milk commercial, we don't want him. Someone like him.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
They want the Sean Whalen before he's known. Where he has a
the
big
joke
break.
is always, we want, who is Sean Whalen? Bring me Sean Whalen. Bring me a younger Sean Whalen. Who is Sean Whalen? That's the arc of Hollywood.
But you're still actively working.
I am.
So you said you were working on a Rob Zombie film?
Yeah, I just did the Devil's Rejects sequel called 3 from Hell like 6 weeks ago. So it's coming out in early 2019.
And how was that experience?
It was great. I remember.
I'm a huge zombie fan. So.
I mean, when I did Halloween 2 with him years ago, I remember we were all of a sudden a rainstorm came and he and I just sat under this tarp and talked about movies.
Yeah.
And, 10 years later, he asked me to do this. I came and we did the same thing. We were sitting there, but it was a scene with me and Sherry, and he's like, nah, I like what you're doing. There's 2 parts of the scene. I did the first part, and he's like, I really like what you're doing. He goes, can we just scratch the script on the second part? And we'll just come up with our own. So me, Sherry, and Rob wrote the second scene on the fly, and then did it.
Yeah.
So it was. So that's
that kind of collaborative thing that you really like to work with.
I like what you're doing, and I want to keep going in that direction. So let's rewrite this because the writing doesn't work. Let's come up with something even cooler, And that was awesome. It was so cool. It was really great.
Do you ever have the kind of opposite experience, like, and don't have to name names, but like where you're on a set and you're like, this is a horrible thing, and what is he doing, and how do you?
Well, I had a guy that, for character actors and comedians, it's funny, I just saw the Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Carrey, that writing and comedians in cars.
Oh, yeah. Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah. And they were talking about Don Knotts as Barney Fife.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know the show, but he was, they just said it was one of the greatest, hilarious parts because 100% arrogance and confidence with nothing to back it up. That's what made it so great.
Yeah.
They were saying there's nothing better than that. It's nothing funnier. So I did a movie where I was playing a goofy deputy, and I said, listen, they're like, we want you in this movie. And I said, great. So I started doing it. He's like, well, I'll do this, do that, do that. And I said, listen, I'm not going to do Barney Fife.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going, I was supposed to be an overly cocky deputy that wasn't that strong. So, but I'll do my version. I'm not going to do him.
Right. You don't want to do an impersonation.
Yeah, it's like reverence, especially as a character actor. You go, that's a genius part done so well. And I kept doing it, doing my thing, and people were laughing. The crew was laughing, but he was getting more and more frustrated. And then finally he just goes, just do Barney Fife. And I was like, I told you I wouldn't do it. So I kind of did what I But again, of course, people were like, "Oh yeah, you were like the Barney Fife," because it was a deputy. It was exactly a deputy like that was, didn't have good, anything to back it up. So that was the opposite experience that he just wanted me to do Barney Fife, and it turned out okay because I did learn from that to go. Even if I try to do Barney Fife, I can't do Barney Fife because I'm not Barney Fife.
Right.
I'm not Don Knotts, so it's not going to be an impersonation. I have a friend, actually, who does the voice, everything of Barney Fife. He left my mom a birthday message because she was such a fan of Andy Griffith as Barney Fife, wishing her a happy birthday. It was so awesome. But even my, take on it can't be,
Yeah.
It's just like Johnny Depp when he said, I'll just be Keith Richards,
right.
for Captain Jack Sparrow. He just said, I'll do, a pirate that never dies. That's Keith Richards. And that's why he did him for Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
And, you don't look at that and go, oh, he's doing Keith Richards. But you kind of go, oh, I can see
right.
elements.
When someone says it's Keith Richards, like, oh, yeah.
It was just when Seinfeld got strong. Everybody was saying, we want a goofy neighbor, but make it your own.
Yeah.
That's what they did with Michael Richards.
Make it your own, but be Kramer.
Yeah. But they wrote it just like Kramer and would say, he walks into the room really brusquely and he says things a certain way. And you're like, dude, don't write Kramer and tell me not to do Kramer. So finally I would just go, all right, I'll do my version of Kramer.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious. Where'd you come up with that? And you're like, really?
I love when Hollywood does stuff like that and then they complain that people aren't watching.
Yeah.
It's like, because I've already seen it.
Yeah.
So is there anyone in the audience that has questions for Sean? Yes, what we got?
I'm going to watch the movie. I want to watch out for the scene. Anything that you can kind of hint at me when I'm seeing it?
First of all, you have to pray. He had a lot of people. I'm praying that it stays in the movie. That's number one. But you'll know it's me. We signed literally a legal document.
Yeah.
Talk about it. So
you're not under gallons of makeup or anything?
No. You mean, like, it's not like I'm under prosthetics.
No. Let me clarify the question. When we're watching the movie, I'd love to know, is this the scene he's talking about that he helped?
Oh, the one that you...
I'm in one long scene with Sherry.
That's the one.
So that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
the one you'll be able to tell.
Is it difficult to be on the set, like, I don't know, Sherry or Rob, but, I mean... For a married couple to like be director-actor, is that a weird dynamic?
They've always handled it very well.
Yeah.
Like I've never, the only difference is like, we're going to lunch and I go, great. Everyone's walking and the director kisses the lead actress on the mouth and goes, okay, I'll see you at the table. That's the only
You didn't get a kiss from Rob?
No, I was a little upset.
Yeah, well, maybe next time.
A little unfair. No, I'm not married to you, but I don't get a kiss.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they've always handled it really, really well.
Yeah.
That I've seen. So, because he's so busy doing his thing, and he's so mellow. He's like, it's so funny. The two biggest horror people I worked with are Rob Zombie and Wes Craven. They were both so mellow.
It's funny. I've seen tons of interviews with him.
With Rob.
With Rob, and I just saw him live in concert. I think last summer, maybe the summer before, and I was blown away how much energy he has on stage. And I'm like, it's a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's Rob Zombie, the rock star.
Right.
And. He's super mellow and super educated in films. And then Wes was always Wes. And if you watch interviews with Wes, he's just very nice. Yeah. Quiet, mellow. Super sweet and very nurturing and super positive. And, it's crazy. It's great.
So I tend to see people look at other careers kind of through rose-colored glasses. What is the least favorite part of your job? Like, what is the part that you dread? Is it promotion stuff?
Well, it's in Europe. You have to, because there's some people when you meet them, and especially at these conventions, they say things, and I love doing this, and you're like, it's great. I'm like, oh, you're so lucky. Look at all this work, and but you have to fight for every gig.
Yeah.
Like you that many things that are on the table that I did. There's several thousand that I didn't do.
Right.
That I didn't get the part. That I went for the audition, And then there's maybe not a handful, but maybe a semi-decent amount that I really wanted those parts. And I didn't get them.
Yeah.
So it's always about, I remember like Russell Crowe after Gladiator was like shaking and nervous on the flight home. And they were like, why? And he goes, I just don't know if I'll ever work again. Like, you just did Gladiator. And that's the thing, is you don't know. Now, I've never gotten to that level. Like, oh my God, I may never work again. I mean, it has happened especially in the beginning, in the 90s, I was working every couple of months pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. And then when that started to stretch to 3 or 4 or 5, you know what I mean? You do start to panic. But I also learned how to change my thinking the last few years. I went through a pretty bad divorce and had a really tough time for a little while. Went to therapy and I read this great book and it totally changed the way you think.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, if maybe I won't do that, but I'll figure out something else to do. Like teach.
Right.
You know, like teach or really promote myself so I can do horror conventions like that. And then by doing those things, then you realize you get more work because your students do projects or introduce you to people. They give you more projects, and then or coming here, I've had directors come, and so it's useless. I mean, this book I read was called Learned Optimism, but it said if you're a guy defusing a bomb and you start to panic and go, if this bomb goes off, I'm dead. Well, that's a fact. It's not like he's wrong.
Right.
But then you have to say, but is it useful for me to think about?
Right.
Probably not.
Is that what you want to focus on?
Right. It's like sitting in a life raft and staring in the ocean going, I could drown in here.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, I need to fucking eat.
Right.
Like, how do I catch a seagull and eat or grab a fish or, you know, so it's usefulness. So it's not useful for me to sit around and say, oh, no, or, you know. So I wrote a play with a friend last year. We did a 9-month run. It got so well received that we're writing a pilot of it. We got the executive producer of New Girl, who saw it several times, said, you know, you guys are on the right track, write the pilot. You know, things like that, like making stuff happen for yourself.
Yeah.
And realizing, like, for me, if my scene doesn't get cut from Rob's movie, I'll be able to do conventions forever.
Do you really enjoy this part of the job? And I know that's kind of a loaded
Yeah,
question.
I do.
To be
I
at a
think
convention,
I think I do because I mean it took a while to get used for. My ex-wife was never really understood it. And she was like, just go get the money from those losers, and I was like, that's not right. Like that's a really negative way to. It's a really negative way to look at it. And then I finally kind of came to a realization not that long ago. I've been doing it for a few years, but I think it was because when I did a play in Los Angeles and we'd finish and we'd see everybody who saw the play shake their hand and say what they liked. And, you know, in Hollywood, they were like, if they stick around, they liked it. If they bolt right after, they didn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, a few people always would bolt and a lot of people would stay. But I realized that, so that work they saw, they appreciated, they commented on, and they went home. Well, this work I did 27 years ago, People on the Stairs, people are still watching, and I've never met them.
Yeah.
I don't get to meet my audience who was there. But, you know, someone asked me a question like, is it weird? And I said, well, in Hollywood, all you're doing is you do a job, and then you not desperately, but then with abandon, you try to find another one.
Right.
And then you do that job, and then that job ends, and you have to try to find another job. And you have to keep that thing going. So we're just working, but meanwhile, the jobs we're doing are being put into your living rooms.
Continuously. Forever.
Into your movie theaters. So when people say, well, why didn't you remember me? And I remember this one guy, and I said, listen, I'm not trying to be mean, but I've been in your living room.
Yeah.
And I've been in your date when you saw a movie at a movie theater. But you haven't been in mine.
Right.
So I don't...
You can quote things that I've said, but I've never heard you speak before.
Right, exactly. Like, I don't... So to me, it's really neat to connect with people. I mean, I've had amazing... I mean, there's a few moments in my life I'll never forget, which is like, I had I did my milk commercial, and they... this woman came up to me and said, I'm so grateful for you. And I said, why? And she said, because I had cancer and I was in the hospital and it was so brutal and they didn't know if I'd make it. And so she goes, but your face would come on TV all the time in that milk commercial and I would laugh. And I promise you that laughter helped me get through it. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, again, it's just like...
It's just a commercial,
for a day, you know, but she said, you were so funny, and it's so great, you know, that was one. And then just a couple of years ago, I said, oh, my mom and I watch Twister all the time, every Thanksgiving. And he goes, and this year it's going to be tough. And I said, why? And he goes, she passed away. She goes, but she'll be watching. I said, well, I'll be watching this year for the first time by myself. And she goes, but it's I got to meet you.
Right.
And if she would be so happy that I met you, and you know, hug, and we chat for a while, and you don't realize that stuff means so much to people.
Yeah.
You know, that, what we do is meaningful.
Right.
You know? So that was really, that's the thing that we realized, is that we're doing something that's lasts forever. And now with Netflix and everything, it's like I'm getting stopped on the street more now for Friends. I did an episode.
Oh, as you said, I didn't even know you were on Friends.
I did an episode of Friends, and everyone's going, "Oh, you're on Friends." I was like, these 12-year-old kids.
Yeah.
My daughter's friends. And because they saw it on Netflix.
Right, and it's one of those always trending kind of things.
Yeah.
Is it weird for your kids to, like, he's not from Friends, he's dad?
Yeah, well, they're impressed with nothing.
Yeah.
They're impressed. They loved it when I brought them to Wizards of Waverly Place. And they were little girls, and they got to meet Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, they saw my makeup, and they met Selena Gomez and stuff. And then my ex-wife was like, all right, now it's Dad's scene. And they're like, we want to get on the dressing room. They didn't care.
They don't care about him.
We already met Selena. When we get, where's that snack table?
Didn't someone say lunch? Yeah.
Yeah, they love the snack table.
Yeah.
The big table of snacks all day long. They love that. But they didn't really care. But, my daughter loves Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I did an episode. She hadn't seen it in a while, and so she rewatched it recently, and it was like I was in the kitchen. Oh, that's right. You're in this show. Did you empty the dishwasher yet? I mean, that's
a show about that bike you have.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's so for me, the conventions are neat because you finally get to meet people who have seen your stuff and see. And obviously, if they're coming here and they're walking up to my table, they probably enjoyed it.
Right.
They're not going to come up and go, "You're fucking horrible."
Have you ever
movie sucks.
Have you ever had something like that? Or?
No. The best. I had something that was really great. This guy came up, and there's a picture of me as Roach, and I was always, kind of creepy. And he goes, "How did you guys do those prosthetics?" And I said, "Well, the fingers were really tedious because they had to be glued on every day and then painted to match, and then my skin was painted to match the glued on fingers." And all that. He goes, No. How long did it take you to do those fucked up teeth and gums? And I go,
and you're like, wait, how old am I?
I said 9 months. My mom had to do it in her belly. And I go, that's actually my mouth. And he goes, really? All right. He didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
He didn't like anything. I laughed so hard, and because my brothers-in-law always gave me a hard time about my big gums and no lips. And so I called him immediately. I was like, "You're right. I got to tell you this story." And he didn't mean to be mean.
Right.
It's just like, really? Wow, that's crazy. But no, I haven't had. But what's weird about people under the stairs? I've heard people go, "God, this scared me so much when I was a kid." And then people come up and just go, "Oh, I love this movie. It's so inspiring." And other people just go and go, "Man, this movie's. I don't even know why they call it a horror. It's a comedy."
Yeah.
And so you get so many different interpretations. And the weird thing is, for Roach, I had to do this compilation thing. And when I did my compilation, I was like, I'm on screen for 10 minutes. That's it. The entire movie. I'm in these little pieces for like a minute or two, about 5 of them, and that's it. And I go, why do people want to meet Roach? I'm not even in the movie that long. But it's because, and that took me a long time to process. One woman said, like, what hero would you like to be? Or what character would you like to be in your real life if you got to choose any? And I just thought, wow, that's a weird question. And I said, probably Roach. And she said, why? And I said, because he was a hero who didn't know he was a hero.
Yeah.
He was just trying to say, fuck you to those people who are mean to him and all his friends. And he was trying to save the little girl.
And it's weird, like, how frequently sometimes our favorite characters have very little screen time. I mean, Boba Fett is a perfect example.
Yeah, exactly.
He's barely in the movies.
Barely ever in the movie.
And he's everyone's favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. So, it is fun to come to conventions and see the perspective and hear the stories. I mean, to me, my kids were like me. I was terrified of... I used to get in trouble because I'd sneak down and watch Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And then I'd be in my room, go, I'm scared. And my mom would come in and go, you know what? I remember my older sister was like, I hated you. And I said, why? She goes, because wasn't allowed to watch Twilight Zone. Because you would come out and get scared all the time, and then Mom would go, no more Twilight Zone. And I'm like, screw him, man.
He's still got dishes to do.
Yeah, exactly. So when people walk up and goes, I saw people on the stairs when I was 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That blows me away about horror conventions.
There's so many people who watch really scary things so little. Yeah. And now, like, the parents will go, yeah, I'm turning him onto it. He's like 7, and he goes, I love I love Halloween. And you're like,
Freddy Krueger's my favorite. And I'm like, Freddy Krueger still creeps me out. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, but there's this separation that they don't get scared by it.
Yeah.
Or even this one kid today said he did. He goes, I saw it really little. And I said, did you get scared at night? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, so you kept watching? He goes, yeah. So it was really strange. I thought it was really strange that I don't think I could do that.
Why do you think it is that people enjoy being scared?
I mean, they've talked about it's just another adrenaline rush to shake up their, some people have rote jobs, rote jobs or rote life or, tasks that are menial or just repetitive in a boring way, and I think it shakes it up a bit, you know what I mean? And I think in a weird way it probably gives perspective to go, whew.
Thank God that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why the ones that scare me are the weird supernatural ghosty ones that I can lock my door against Mike Myers, but you can creep in my brain and screw me up forever. Like The Matrix, when I first saw The Matrix, that fucked me up a little bit. I was like, ooh, am I really, like the ones that are really esoteric, am I alive? Am I truly alive? Or
The thing that scared me the most as a kid, I don't know why my parents let me watch it. It was a TV special. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was about nuclear war.
And this is like the day after.
Maybe, yeah. And it's like 82, 83 or something like that. And, it messed me up for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it was that very realistic art.
Yeah.
So for...
is there... new people came in. Does anyone else have a question?
Good shit.
Do you let your kids watch the scary stuff that you were in?
They're not interested. No, they're not in. Well, they saw my one. Actually, recently they were like, okay, we've never seen people on the stairs. So my youngest daughter, who's now 14, and her friend had just seen that. Did you ever guys see the Netflix movie Hush?
Oh yeah.
It was basically Wait Till Dark, but with deaf instead of blind. And it was good, well done, simple, scary, and they were a little scared there. And then my oldest daughter went to bed, and her friend, my 14-year-old, and her friend watched people on the stairs. And they were like, and then we were at a convention, and my older daughter was there. And, she's a young woman. She was 16 at the time. She's watching the movie. And this is the stuff I forget about it. But the dad almost molesting the little girl, And I forgot that he does that, And the mom's like, stop, basically she's like, stop screwing all the girls that we take, And I guess I didn't really...
Yeah.
And as soon as he started creeping on the young teenage girl, like the 12-year-old girl, she was like, fucking, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the blood or anything like that. She goes, that's not even entertaining. Like, I don't even see how anyone... And it was so weird. It was this element that I didn't even connect with. But for me, the parents, or whatever, mommy and daddy, whatever you call it, were so cartoony and weird that it was... It separated.
Right, yeah.
But I can see that as a young girl her age, just becoming a woman and going, oh my God, this is child. Or, this is a guy, this is child molestation, and I don't want to see this, So it's funny, like you go, wow, I didn't know this. And I said, yeah, but the whole point is we need to see the bad guy. I said, you need to see the bad guy be bad.
Right.
So then when they get beaten,
you cheer.
I was like, yeah. I mean, Darth Vader strangles a guy and kills him within the first 5 minutes of Star Wars to make you go, I hate you. You know what I mean? And so the guy who messes with the little girl, you go, I hate him. And she survives and he doesn't. You know?
Right.
So that's what you want to see. You know what I mean?
Do your kids have ambitions to go into acting?
No. My youngest would be great. She's come to my improv class a couple times. She's helped me film some things a couple times. She's got such a good knack for it. But, you know, I go, why? Isn't that fun? I said, I'm like, we've seen your life. You have to work so hard and try different things and struggle, and you don't know. My ex-wife and I have to meet, for child support and spouse. We have to meet every year because it's so different every year. It can be good, not as great, okay, because it fluctuates all the time. And they're like, ugh, I don't want that. They want the stability. So, any other questions?
You might be reluctant. What's the best experience you've had on a movie set and the worst experience you've had?
Well, the worst experience I had was a show called The Amazing Life of Sea Monkeys, which is based on the little packets that you used to get with Howie Mandel. It was a Saturday morning show, and it was prosthetics. We'd go in there at 5 in the morning and get full prosthetic makeup on, and then it was so hot in this cheap studio that they were shooting it in that, we had to wear a cool suit, which was a vest with cool water pumped in it, and it was all goofy Three Stooges type dancing around, so it was so brutal. I lost so much weight, and I was thin anyway, and I would just get anxiety attacks as soon as I'd go in at 5 in the morning and feel the cold glue, the first piece that's going to cover your face the entire day for 15 hours. And I remember going, I was like, this is the Vietnam of acting. A kid show that no one sees because it was, and they put it on at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Which would always be preempted by footballers or for anything. So no one ever saw it. And, because I kind of thought all right, this is tough, but this could catch on and be really a big hit. But it was put at a time that was always preempted by stuff. No one saw it. We got, a couple guys, they were like, I'm okay. And they were sweating. Luckily I didn't sweat that much, but this one guy was like, hey, and it just fell over on the ground. And one time the producer had to sit in for one of the actors, and after that he was like, we have to help these guys. And the owners didn't care, and they were going to Vegas, and I almost quit acting. I'd only been in it for 3 or 4 years. I almost left 100%. And then, but I didn't, and the reason was I said, I'm not going to make it about acting, but why do I want this job? And the job is, I finally went, because I like meeting new people, and I don't want to do the same thing. I went, okay, that'll keep me going, and it's kept me going for this whole time. And then,
almost thank God you didn't catch on.
One of the best, exactly. Yeah. One of the best was Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. It was one line. It was supposed to be one line. But I was friends with them at the time, her and her producing partner, Nancy Gervonen, who's now married to Jimmy Fallon. And she called up and said, listen, it's one line, but it wasn't this one line. It was about a guy handing her a message and a booger on it. She goes, but if it wasn't that one line, what do you think is funny? And I said, I think it'd be funny if he wore an Armani suit. And he thought he was the biggest badass, Wall Street kick-ass business person, but he's the secretary to a copy editor, and then my stuff at the desk was the first shot of the entire film. Yeah. And I started making stuff up on the fly. I'd written some stuff down and started making it up as soon as she walked up, and I was like, I'm going to be fired. And she walked up and she goes, that's hilarious. Keep it up. It was Drew's first producing thing. She goes, keep it up. I want you to keep doing it. And then the director came up and said, well, we have to shoot the stuff with the booger. And Drew said, well, I don't know. Sean, do you want to do the scene with the booger? And I go, well, I'll do whatever you want. She goes, that's not what I'm asking. Do you want to do it? And the director said, oh, we have to do it. She goes, I want you to be quiet. Sean, do you want to do it? And I was like, well, she goes, Sean, the character you created, a guy in an Armani suit who thinks he's really great, would he pick his nose and put a booger on a message? I'll do whatever you want. And I said, no, not really. We're not going to shoot it. The director said, well, we have to have it. She goes, no, because then if you have it in the can, and
you could use it
to the studio, and the studio goes, we think that's funny. She goes, it'll ruin all the hard work that Sean did creating a fun, fully realized character. So we're not shooting it. And I was like, and Drew had my back the entire time. She kept on saying, write whatever you want, run it by us. And so my part went from one line, and now I'm in the entire movie of Never Been Kissed throughout the whole thing, from beginning, middle to end. So that's awesome.
It was awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So it was like, so that was one of my best experiences.
So I think we're running close to the end. Do you have any parting advice for aspiring actors?
Listen, the new world is not, we used to study, and we used to go to study, and then we'd get agents, and then the phone would ring, and we'd go to a lot of auditions. Well, those days are kind of over. They want people that create their own content, and the best examples now are Rachel Bloom for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Insecure on HBO, and all these people writing their own stuff, creating their own content. Because why would they spend money on, I have an idea, let's hire a bunch of people to develop it, let's hire a bunch of people, when they can go to the internet and go, let's make that a TV show.
Yeah.
It's all done for them.
That YouTube video is funny, let's do that.
That YouTube video is funny, let's do that. Let's use them. So there is no learning how to just act. You need to learn how to act, write, direct, produce. You have to learn the whole thing. So you can go in. Most of my friends from Groundlings that are working on, like Michael McDonald. Did anyone watch Mad on Fox? Mad TV.
Yeah.
Remember Stewart? The character Stewart. That's my friend Michael. He was in Groundlings when I was in Groundlings, and now he's a director. He directs a bunch of TV now because he learned how to direct and write early on. So, and then another friend of mine was an executive producer on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and now he's acting in the show. Fred Savage, who was a friend of mine, was obviously an actor, and then he'll go to a series every once in a while, but he's a big TV director. Brad Pitt got an Oscar for producing 12 Years a Slave, not for acting. So that's what I mean.
So it's being part of the whole business.
You have to say. You shouldn't say, "Oh, I'm an actor." You say, "I'm in the entertainment business."
Yeah.
And learn. So that's what I teach my students: is to write, direct, produce, do your own stuff, so you can. My friend who was a journalist said, I used to go out 20 years ago with 4 people. A sound guy, a light guy, a producer, all these people. She goes, now I go with one. One kid sits there with his headphones on, does everything.
Yeah.
Does the lighting, does the miking, does the editing, does it all themselves. Everybody knows many things now. They don't want just one thing. It's not worth their time. So, any other questions though? No? Yes.
Is there anything from your movies or TV shows that you kept as souvenirs, neat props?
Yeah. I have some that I have weird stuff. I mean, I have my compass from Twister. I have the baseball hat I wore. I still have that. The baseball hat from that. I have a set of my fingers from people under the stairs, and it's weird. It's this mold of my fingers. It's on this thing, and they used to have they bring them in every day, the fresh fingers, because they need a fresh pair every day.
Right.
They rip them off. So I have a set of my 5 fingers. I had my tongue forever, and I don't know where. I looked for it recently, and I couldn't find it. And scripts, scripts with the notes from the directors and things like that. I kept a lot of my big scripts. But yeah, things like that I kept. Little things, you'd go and you go, oh no, hey, that's the shirt I wore, that's the thing I wore. But from those 2 movies, and Drew gave us she gave us a baseball from Never Been Kissed, and so I kept that. And so I have a few things, but not a ton. You can get so much stuff. I get some crazy clothes from some movies and things like that.
Do you have fans bring you in stuff when you do conventions, drawings?
Yeah. I have one guy did a drawing, a painting of Roach that I have. One guy did a really cool. He took VHSs and he did his paintings on a VHS. So
on like the tape?
On the actual tape.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with people on the stairs. One guy did make buttons of things. So I have a few of those too.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Any last questions?
Yeah.
So
Do you have a dream project? Like if you had no limitations, you would make.
I mean, I think I'm working on a play right now with one of my best friends and a group of great people. It would be fun. I'd like to be in a series that I created. That would be my dream job, and that's what I'm working on right now. It's a comedy I did in LA for 9 months. We had a 9-month run, and we're writing this pilot. And if I could actually be a part of that and be a part of the making of it, the writing of it, and then act in it, like that would be my dream. And it looks like or a movie, of the same thing that I wrote and created and starred in.
all right, Sean. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk
Thank you so
to us.
much, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcast. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out and or add our podcast to that, too. You can contact us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.